Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today our mission is a really interesting one. We're looking at a public figure who's navigating this stunning divergence in time.
Exactly. We're focused on Hailee Steinfeld and really the collision of these two major timelines in her life that all kind of climaxed in 2025 and, set the stage for where we are now in 2026.
It's such a study in extremes.
It really is. On one hand, you have this rapid acceleration of her personal life, the relationship, marriage, impending motherhood, all in under 3 years.
And on the other side, she's anchored to this colossal long-term artistic commitment.
The finale of the Spider-Verse trilogy, I mean, that's a project that just demands a slow, careful burn.
So the sheer scope of this, going from a public dating life to welcoming a child, while at the same time being part of this huge animated film set for 2027, it's a fascinating case study.
It is. We've got sources covering everything from the personal details to the technical side of her career.
So let's start where the public story really began, Section 1.
Yeah.
The timeline of her very rapid relationship with Josh Allen.
It all just exploded into view in May 2023. It was right after that initial buzz that the Buffalo Bills quarterback was, back on the market.
And they didn't really ease into it, did they?
Not at all. I mean, days after those first links, they were spotted at this high-end omakase place, Sushi by Beau, in New York City.
Right, in Chelsea.
Yeah.
And they posed for photos with the founder. It was clear right away this wasn't just some casual thing.
No. But what's so interesting is that the speed of it all created this intense public scrutiny. And that scrutiny, well, it forced a really early conversation about boundaries.
Yeah, because by August 2023, Allen was already on the Pardon My Take podcast talking about the pressure.
He was. He admitted the level of interest still, blew his mind. But more than that, he gave a really specific example that shows the dark side of it all.
That's right. He talked about the constant photography.
And he recalled seeing a photographer on a boat trying to get pictures of them.
On a boat?
Yeah. He called it a gross feeling and admitted it created a real sense of insecurity for them as a new couple.
I think that moment, the paparazzi on a boat, that's actually a key to this whole thing. It shifts the analysis from just a dating timeline to a case study in celebrity self-defense.
How do you mean?
Well, if the press is making you feel gross and insecure, what's the fastest way to get control of that narrative?
You make it permanent.
You make a permanent commitment, and then you control how it's announced.
Precisely. That public insecurity forces famous couples to hunker down, to accelerate their private life, to protect it. And look how quickly they integrated.
It was just a few months later, right? October 2023.
Yep. Steinfeld was seen shopping with Allen's mother, Lavone, in East Aurora, New York, picking up Bill's gear. That's not a casual gesture. That is family vetting.
Shopping for fan gear with the future mother-in-law less than 6 months in. That just screams a deliberate choice. They were defining the relationship as serious, as domestic, despite everything else going on.
And by February 2024, all the sources were saying the same thing. They were serious, family-oriented, and totally committed to their privacy. That foundation let the timeline just rocket forward.
Rocket is an understatement. They go Instagram official in July 2024.
Which is the signal to the world, right? The private commitment is now ready for a controlled public release.
And then boom, the sunset engagement in Malibu, November 22, 2024.
Followed by the big 2025 event, the wedding in Santa Barbara on May 31st.
The entire sequence from that first date to marriage is packed into barely 2 years.
And that vulnerability Allen showed so early on, it really gives context to what she said after the wedding.
Oh, the detail about her dress.
Yeah, she told Bustle that when she put it on, she actually lost my breath, and that she felt more like myself and more beautiful. It really speaks to this internal shift,
Like she was finally settling into an identity that wasn't just about Hollywood.
And she actively defined what that married life meant. It was about slowing down. She said she was learning what it means to slow down and to share that with someone.
And she specifically mentioned the Buffalo Bills offseason as the time to hunker down and support him. For someone whose career has been full speed since she was a teen, that is a monumental shift.
It is, which brings us perfectly to Section 2. The final big piece of 2025 and the massive announcement that launched them into 2026.
The baby. The arrival of their first child.
And this announcement was the ultimate execution of that controlled narrative we were talking about. It was revealed on December 12th, 2025.
But not in a magazine exclusive or some big photo shoot?
No, it was through her own platform. Her Substack newsletter, Beau Society.
It wasn't even the headline, was it?
Not at all. It was strategically wrapped into a list of her 29 favorite moments for her 29th birthday. You had to be a subscriber. You had to actually read the list to find the news.
That is a level of control over the press cycle that most celebrities can only dream of.
And the follow-up was just as intentional. A joint Instagram post with a video of them in the snow.
Alan kissing her bump, and she's wearing a fleece that just says, Mother.
A public, heartfelt confirmation on their terms, but only after the private reveal had already taken over the news.
And the baby is expected in spring 2026, which means their first wedding anniversary in May is going to happen right around the birth. It's an emotional crescendo to this whole journey.
It is. The contrast is so clear. Public speculation created insecurity, which led to a rapid marriage, which led to a deeply personal, controlled announcement of their family.
Even Alan's public response was so simple. He just told the Associated Press he was overjoyed, absolutely overjoyed.
And the intimate details kept coming. In January 2026, her Substack shared a silhouette photo of her baby bump, framed by art that read, "Mothers are underrated."
And that little butter yellow onesie on their Christmas tree, embroidered with Baby Beau.
The presentation is perfect. It's celebrating motherhood, but it's a very curated, pre-vetted glimpse.
This high level of curation in their personal life actually brings us to a fascinating pivot point.
Right. What happens when celebrities and these cultural shifts start to dictate what the next generation of names will be?
We've got some great insights on this from a naming consultant, Colleen Slagan, who breaks down the professional predictions for 2026 baby names.
And Slagan pinpoints three really distinct trends. The first she calls the Goldilocks names.
Goldilocks names, or pardon my French names.
Exactly. It's this quest for names that are classic but not overdone. You know, that sweet spot of elegance.
We're talking about names like Celine, Hugo, Elodie.
Remy. Names that feel sophisticated but aren't, everywhere on the playground. Parents want something that feels unique but is still easy to spell, the just right name.
Okay, so that's trend one. What's the second?
The second is the Andy Anderson names, which is a great reference. It's inspired by the Kate Hudson character.
So this is about girls using traditionally male names.
Yep. The continued rise of it, you can expect to see a lot more girls named Drew, Dylan, Logan, even Stevie.
It's a cultural shift, really. Parents wanting strong, often one-syllable names that don't box their daughters into traditional roles.
And the third trend is maybe the most intriguing. Slagan calls them the Merriam-Webster names.
Okay, so just words pulled directly from the dictionary.
Literally. It's a way for parents to pick a name that's totally unique but has an immediate shared meaning. She pointed to examples like Story, Haven, Winter, even Rowdy.
It's a way to create instant thematic significance, a fascinating snapshot of how quickly these trends evolve.
Yeah, it really is. But okay, let's abruptly yank ourselves away from the butter yellow onesies and the rapid pace of personal life.
Okay, a hard pivot.
Because we have to dive into the other timeline defining her career right now. The slow, demanding, multi-year saga of Spider-Man. Beyond the Spider-Verse.
This is section 3. The professional commitment that is the ultimate counterpoint to the speed of her personal life. Her role as Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen.
It's a monumental performance commitment. It's the final installment of an Oscar-winning trilogy. The pressure is immense.
And the story picks up right on that cliffhanger from Across the Spider-Verse, with Miles Morales trapped on Earth 42.
Right. He's isolated. The whole plot hinges on Gwen and the other spider people finding him. And the producers have confirmed the film will explore Miles' sense of betrayal and how characters like Gwen, her loyalty, her love, help him grow.
So this is not just a simple voice role for her. It's a character-defining arc.
And the pressure to stick that landing is the main reason for this crazy, volatile production timeline. I mean, the film was originally supposed to come out March 29, 2024.
March 2024. If you look at the personal timeline, that was right when she was about to get engaged.
Exactly. So the delay is massive, and we have to understand why it stalled so completely.
Okay, so what happened?
The big delay was announced in July 2023. They just pulled the film from the calendar. It was two things: complex production technicalities with the art style, and critically, the SAG-AFTRA strike.
And it's so important to understand why that strike specifically just crippled animation.
It's different from live action. With animation, the voice work is constantly changing. They need to do retakes based on how the visuals are progressing.
So you can't just record all your lines in a week and be done with it.
No way. Voice actors like Steinfeld or Cheryl Jerome, who voices the Prowler, they often record alone. The directors need to be able to jump in, rewrite a line on the spot, and have the actor record it immediately. The strike froze all of that.
You can't finish animating thousands of frames if you don't have the final locked-in dialogue.
Exactly. The whole pipeline shatters. So after all that, the studio finally set the new, very distant release date, June 18th, 2027.
A 3-year delay. That long runway has to be a deliberate artistic choice.
Oh, absolutely. The composer, Daniel Pemberton, he spoke about this. He said the team is intensely focused on avoiding the mistakes made by third installments in other big franchises.
And he specifically mentioned The Godfather Part 3, which tells you everything about the level of cultural weight they feel.
It does. They know they can't rush this ending. They have to stick the landing, no matter how long it takes.
There was also some confusion when a delay is that huge. Rumors started flying that most of the film had been scrapped.
Which the producers, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they immediately and explicitly denied. They confirmed the film reels were progressing. The message was clear. This just takes time.
We know the creative team is locked in.
Mm.
And they actually showed the first footage way back at CinemaCon in March 2025.
Yeah, that footage, shown 2 years before the release, it teased Miles declaring he would do things his way, which is an interesting parallel to Steinfeld doing marriage and motherhood her way, right?
That's a great point. So let's synthesize these two competing timelines. Between May 2023 and early 2026, Hailee Steinfeld completes these monumental personal chapters, finding love, marriage, starting a family. That timeline was rapid and focused.
Conversely, her artistic commitment to the Spider-Man finale is just stretched out until June 2027. She's tied to a role where the professional demands dictate a slow, meticulous process, regardless of what's happening in her life outside the recording booth.
So the deeply personal milestones were achieved quickly, privately, demanding agility. The career-defining artistic finale demands this grinding patience, stretching years beyond the birth of her first child.
It really raises a profound question. What does this unavoidable gap between that rapid personal fulfillment and the slow burn of major art tell us about the different kinds of commitment required to be great in life versus in Hollywood?
And what unexpected challenges could come up from having these two huge life chapters, new motherhood and a career-defining film finale set years apart, forcing her to transition from that focused maternal role back into the intense promotional cycle of a blockbuster.
Something to think about as we wait.
Something to mull over as we wait for that June 2027 release date. That's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.